A Bucks County man has been arrested on charges of attempted and kidnapping of a woman in a grocery store parking lot Tuesday night.
A few moments later.
And the big story in Action News is attempted charges dropped against a man wrongfully accused after he spent more than a month behind bars. Tonight, a 20-year-old Bucks County woman says she lied about the attack after police said her story didn't add up.
You're looking at the...
Yeah, exactly, guys. Yeah, here's our heroine right here. Where is she? Let's get her face up here. There she is. See this pretty 20-year-old girl? She's so pretty, even her mugshot looks pretty. She up and for no other reason than she dislikes men, told a lie about a man, a complete stranger, never did anything to her. She never met this man. And why did she do it? She told the lie because she felt like it, right? And as usual, guys are confused. They can't come to terms with the fact that women don't like men and are willing to lie about us.
Was lying about this whole thing. For what purpose? No one still knows. No one knows why this woman just straight up lied about the situation. And
no, correct. Correction, Nate the lawyer. You don't know why. And I do. Some of us do know. We just come to terms with the fact that women just don't like men. Women don't like this man. See, this is the victim. He's a low status, average looking guy. This woman, the average woman, hates this guy and will harm them randomly for that reason. The other thing that's this situation shows is the criminal justice system. It's actually it's criminal against men. It supported this woman 100% with zero evidence against this guy. Now we'll get into this.
But the police investigated and found out that...
Back up here. Here we are.
Life in prison, but the police investigated and found out that the woman was a liar.
Life in prison for attempted rape. So what would happen if he actually raped her, or if it was multiple rapes? So, I mean, that is criminal.
This is 20-year-old Angela Yurimova.
Yeah, now look at this one. She has rolled by the balls, right? She's so pretty, even her mugshot looks good. This woman has no excuses. She's not on drugs. She didn't have a poor family upbringing. She didn't come from a poor neighborhood. You'll find out she has zero excuse for this.
She is a 20-year-old nursing student with aspirations of becoming a surgeon. Now, on April 16th...
You see, she has aspirations of becoming a surgeon. And she's willing to throw it all away to tell a lie about a stranger who did nothing to her. And the reason why is because in the end, careers don't mean anything to women. They don't need to chase status.
2024, she reported to police that someone tried to kidnap her. Here's what she said.
According to the Bucks County District Attorney's Office, the woman told police she parked her car and...
Again, guys, he only supposedly tried to kidnap her. So why is he facing life in prison?
The back of this parking lot, and almost immediately after getting out, she was grabbed from behind by a man. She told police she started to scream, but the man wouldn't let go, eventually pulling down her pants, yelling at her to shut up, and punching her in the face as he pushed her toward his truck. Officials say the woman continued to scream, which scared off the man, who ran back to his vehicle and drove off.
Now, Yurimova described the attacker's truck as an old blue Ford F-150.
So all we have is this woman's word. Right? So the so-called legal system is geared up to put men behind bars at a woman's word. How, guys, is this any different from the black men who were lynched in the 1960s? There's none. There's only one difference, actually. is that it's about sex instead of race. But either way, it's men who get lynched. So it's always been about sex, one way or the other, the male sex.
Or F-250 with a thin blue line sticker on the back driver's side. Now, police were able to use this information to look at local license plate readers. And in the system, they were trying to figure out, were there any Ford F-150 or F-250 trucks in the area at the time of the alleged assault. Police then got a hit on the system that there was a Ford F-250 traveling at a nearby intersection around.
Now, look how much work they're getting to find a suspect. They're not actually looking at the tape, right? The CCTV tape to see if it even happened. They're not concerned with that. They're not concerned with whether this actually happened or not.
Around the time of the assault. And even more lucky for the police, they were familiar with the vehicle and the person who owned the vehicle. His name was Daniel Pearson. And even worse, the police saw that Daniel Pearson's physical description matched the description that the victim was giving to police. So Daniel Pearson...
It wasn't luck, though. He's going to show you that this woman happened to see this man and finger him, right?
Pearson was arrested on multiple felony charges.
A Bucks County man has been arrested on charges of attempted and kidnapping of a woman in a grocery store parking lot Tuesday night.
It happened outside the Redners on Lincoln Highway in Middletown Township.
So after the arrest, police continued to investigate and things just didn't add up. For instance, there was surveillance footage of the area, and when police looked at the surveillance footage, they didn't see any alleged attack or any suspicious activity occurring at the reported time.
The thing is, what he's missing out here, the man was jailed for a month, right? So something that they should have done at the very beginning, they didn't bother. Because they're not about justice. They're about finding a man to criminalize.
Then police looked at Yurimova's GPS on her phone, and it revealed that she wasn't even in the parking lot at the time she claimed the incident occurred, or at least her phone wasn't. And then her identification of Pearson and his blue F-150 truck, well, come to find out, she had seen Pearson before and just randomly named him as her attacker, even though he had nothing to do with it because she felt he was creepy.
Yeah, back that up, see? This woman told a lie about a man because she found him creepy. Creepy is another N-word right up there with incel. It's vague on purpose, right? All it means is I don't like this guy. So get him. That's what creepy means. It's another N-word.
Was creepy.
Saying she named him because she had seen him.
And she was bored and she did it for shits and giggles. So this is absolute proof that this woman, again, she has no record of mental illness. She wasn't on drugs that altered her brain. She didn't give a bad upbringing, right? There's zero excuses. All those, there's nothing that they could make an excuse with.
At his truck in the shopping center previously and thought he was, quote, creepy.
So police eventually called Yurimova in and said, hey, listen, girl, none of this makes sense. It seems like it's all a lie. And then Yurimova admitted to making the entire incident up.
The complaint states that shortly after his arrest, officials received information from Pearson's family that warranted further investigation. So detectives reviewed surveillance video and found at no...
Notice, in this case, it's inverted, right? The man has to prove his innocence instead of the woman approving his guilt.
Point in the video, did Pearson's truck travel through any part of the path Yurimova claimed the vehicle took? Yurimova was called to the DA's office for questioning last Thursday, and because of more inconsistencies in her story, she was called back in on Friday. That's when the complaint states Yurimova admitted that she had lied about the entire incident and that no assault occurred. Yurimova said she had seen Pearson and his truck before in the parking lot of her old job and that he was, quote, creepy. All charges against Pearson have been dropped.
Now, even though Pearson was eventually released, he had spent over a month in jail.
Exactly, right? So it took them 31 days to look at a couple hours of, surveillance video. Why didn't they just look at that at the beginning and corroborate, right? They could have corroborated what she was saying, but they didn't want corroboration, right? The so-called justice system does not want to gather evidence, because what they really want to do is get the man. Point on a man that we can abuse and incarcerate, and we'll do it, right? There is no legal system for men as far as sex goes. As a sex, we are not even second class. We're not even citizens. We're not even second class citizens. We are the slave caste.
He had spent a month in jail over these totally made up false accusations because of the mantra, believe all women.
The mantra, believe all women, really means attack all men. That's what the mantra really is. It's attack all men. Because what are we believing women about? It's not like believe women when they say they saw UFOs, right? It's believe us when we say a man was bad, punish him.
Mantra, believe all women.
The man was originally charged with multiple felony offenses and spent 31 days in jail. According to the DA's office, all charges were withdrawn.
Okay, I want to pause this video real quick. The number one question I get from viewers is, how can I help them?
So they put this guy away for a month simply because he was in the vicinity. Right. All right. Listen to this.
Find a lawyer. So I searched for a law firm to partner.
There's so many people ask me, how do I find a lawyer? Help me find a lawyer is right up there with get therapy, right? Something wrong has happened to you. Just take it, right? There shouldn't be a question. Like, guys are even asking the wrong questions. They shouldn't be asking, how do I get a lawyer? They should be saying, how do I sue the legal system for its criminal activity? How do I change the legal system so that it's no longer criminal? That's what men should be asking. Okay?
With that has tons of experience.
Past this, I don't care about this.
Lied about being sexually assaulted. Generally, they are not charged with the crime because the authorities believe that if you charge this,
they are not generally charged with a crime, Nate, because they don't want to throw women behind bars. They want to throw men behind bars, right? Nate is going to spew this false narrative that they're worried about some theoretical victim that might not come forth, right?
This woman with filing a false police report, then that'll dissuade other real victims from coming forward because they feel that if no one believes them, then they may be charged.
See, that narrative is actually a complete attack on men. You do realize that, right? Because it's inverted. What's that old saying? I'd rather have 1,000 guilty men go free than have one innocent man jailed. It's inverted. I would rather have 1,000 innocent men jailed than have one guilty one go, not get incarcerated. What's that biblical end times they talk about? Good will be seen as evil and evil as good. So I can understand why a lot of religious people are now saying that we're living in the end times. Because where men are concerned, everything's reversed. Everything that we extolled as good is now being seen as evil, right? And of course, this is all about, we got to destroy men's victimhood and put it onto women, right?
20-year-old woman is out on bail tonight, according to court records, after investigators say she lied about an attempted and kidnapping.
She's out on bail, guys. Right? She almost put a guy away for life, but she's out on bail.
in Middletown. The man she accused of the crime spent 31 days in jail before all charges against him were withdrawn, says the DA's office.
Prosecutors say cases like this can impact how victims feel about coming forward.
Say that they're doing it again, right? It should be cases like this impact innocent men. That's what he should be saying, and what they do. They go in this false narrative, right? These people are part of the problem. They're a part of the criminal activity.
Here's our Kelly rule.
These people aid and abet these crimes.
The father of the man wrongly accused talked to me off camera this afternoon saying that.
Why was she talking him off camera? Right? It's because they don't want to humanize the victim, right? They don't want to show that this guy, this creepy guy, has friends and family, and he's a real person with real feelings, right? That's why it's all so sterilized, right?
This hasn't only been horrible for his son, but for the entire family. Investigators say these types of cases not only impact the community, but future victims of these types of crimes. First Assistant DA.
They're doing it again. It's all about these future female victims, right? But they're lying. These people aren't even aware that they're lying. What they're saying is, we want to destroy men, and these lying women, you know, they need to be believed. The lies need to be believed. That's what they're actually saying here. It's troubling that this woman's lies were blatant. That's what they're actually saying. They're saying, next time you guys, women tell a lie, make sure there's enough evidence that we can just go with it. That's what they're actually saying.
Edward Lucas says this is the result of taking all allegations of sexual assault seriously, but also seeing the investigation through to the truth. And they plan to take the case against Yurimova just as seriously.
Well, they're lying. Because this guy was threatened with life in prison. Is she being threatened with life in prison? No.
Cases like this feed into, I guess, a stereotype or a notion that true victims who have truly been traumatized and victimized might not be telling the truth. If this stops even one person victim from coming forward, then that's also irreparable.
Again, there you go, right? It's better that 1,000 innocent men go free, or no, sorry, go to jail, just in case this one guilty guy goes free. It's inverted. Our principles have been inverted. And this guy is a part of it. He's supporting a criminal system. That makes him a criminal himself, according to me.
Yurimova was charged with filing a false police report, among other crimes. Again, according to court records, she did post bail this morning.
Now, the part that's even worse about this whole story is that she identified Pearson in a lineup. They took him and put him in a lineup, and she said she was 60% sure that he was the person that assaulted her. So, yeah.
60%. Wow. That's worth putting away a man for his entire life. Almost a flip of a coin, right? And again, this isn't evidence, guys. This is still just a woman's word, right? So they don't gather evidence other than evidence that might make the man look guilty. That's it. But they don't actually gather evidence to see if the crime happened or not.
She went above and beyond. At any point in time, she could have said, I'm lying, this thing doesn't made up. But she literally pointed him out in the lineup and said that was the guy who did this to me. Now, she was arrested on 7 charges ranging from...
Yeah, it sounds really vicious, doesn't it? 7 whole charges, right? False report, unsworn falsification, etc. But these are slap on the wrist crimes, right? She's going to get nothing from this.
From filing a false police report to tampering with physical evidence. Now, Yurimova was released on $30,000 bail, and she has to return to court to face these charges. Now, this is the danger with the believe all women no matter what scenario.
You mean the get all men, the attack all men scenario. That's what this is. Believe all women is attack all men. Nate, I'm getting it right for you because you are part of the false narrative.
What scenario? Because this woman obviously was lying about this whole thing. For what purpose? No one still knows. No one knows why this woman...
No, you don't know. There are people who know, like myself. I expect a lot of my subs know. Women do not like men and harm us out of sadism and enjoyment. That's why she did it. Again, you're confused because you say, hey, this woman, there was no excuse to make for her, right? There was zero excuse. She wasn't on drugs. She didn't have a bad upbringing. She wasn't suffering from some mental illness. She was on the fast track to possibly becoming a surgeon. Zero excuses. So what it does is it exposes the nature of gender dynamics. And you can never come to this conclusion. So you just go, oh, I don't know what's going on here, right?
Just straight up lied about the situation. And this was the classic he said, she said. She said this happened to me.
That's right. There was no real evidence there. Thank you for admitting that, lawyer.
In this parking lot. And he said, I don't know what she's talking about. And they locked him up for a month.
There you go. Again, see, because it's a criminal system. It's not a justice system. It's a criminal system. It's a man-hunting system. The police want to throw men in jail. Doesn't matter whether they're guilty of anything or not. One of the guys in my Discord, Cosmic Crusher, he despises the police, and I can understand why now.
Him up for a month and gave him $1 million bail. That shows you the power.
So they gave him $1 million bail. That was to make sure he couldn't make bail. This woman, they gave her only $30,000 because they wanted her to make bail. She could run if she wanted, maybe just disappear, because they're not really interested in jailing her.
Of this woman being able to tell this story. Now, as for this scumbag, she is likely going to do some time.
Glad you finally got something right. She's a scumbag. That's right. Her time's going to be chump change, though.
I would think true justice would be her doing at least 2 months.
No, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. This man just happened to only do a month. They were aiming to make it a life sentence. Right? So for her to get actually punished for it, she would have to do a life sentence. It would send a real message to all the women out there, not just all the liars, just women in general. You're going to be severely punished when you want to attack a man for fun. And this is the narrative that the criminal justice system is really about defending. It's not about this woman who might actually suffer some kind of sexual assault. It's about, we want women to be able to tell their lies and us to punish men, innocent men, when we feel like it. And that will destroy that ability to do that, our ability to do that. That's what the police are actually concerned about.
In jail for these lies. He did a month. She should at least do 2 months at a minimum. And he should get a lawyer and sue the wajeezy out of her. So because she wants to be a doctor, she should be paying this man some of her salary for the rest of her life.
I agree with that. But really, to go further, she should be behind bars for the exact same sentence. And I don't mean a month. He wasn't sentenced for a month. He was Life in prison, that's what she needs. And again, this criminal justice system, the criminal system, actually does not want that to happen. It does not want to punish women like this. It does not want to send a message to women that their criminal behavior will be punished. That's their big concern, right? So anyway, I'm going to end off saying, hammering 2 points home. One, women do not like men and are willing to harm us for no reason. And this justice system is out to get men. It's actually a criminal system and supports criminals, right? They admit it every time they bring out this theoretical woman that might have got assault and people might not believe. It proves that it's a criminal system, that everyone hates men, right? This guy did nothing but be a low status nobody. That was his reason. Their reason. I shouldn't even say that because male celebs get capped. So anyway, we'll end it here.